trouble with my voice. And a few months later, got weaker. And I think I was diagnosed last October. And they found out it was ALS, which I didn't know much about. I'm learning a lot now.
I do know about ALS, but still would never have thought about it in terms of my own family and my father, who was this strong, unbelievably active man. He's modest and he won't tell you, but this person has been a community leader, a business leader, and a family leader, and has been an incredible giver. So to see him in this position has been devastating for us and for everybody around him.
The important thing is to keep my strength, whatever I have left. And I still have a certain strength. And you get pretty self-occupied with a disease. Unfortunately, I'd like to do other things, but it's tough.
So ALS is a degenerative disease in which certain nerves in the brain and the spinal cord that have to do with muscle function fall apart and deteriorate and die over about a 4 or 5 year period. And the result is that muscles get weak, and that as a consequence people essentially become paralyzed. And what usually becomes, unfortunately, the fatal aspect of this disease is that the diaphragm and breathing fail.
And it doesn't go uphill, it goes downhill. So there's no solution. And you gotta put up with it. And see if you can stretch it out as long as you can.
I think it's important to realize, specifically with ALS, that there's no impairment in the person's intellectual, cognitive functioning. And so just because he has some motor impairment does not mean that he's not who he is. And what I am so happy about is that I can still solicit advice from my father, have conversations about all kinds of things with him, and I'm just grateful that although, you know, physically he's not able to do what he did before, he's the same guy. At the same time, I can't give up hope that there will be something that will come along in the near future, and that what I tell him every day is that he's got to hang on and fight it out, and he's a fighter.
Given that we're doing drug screening now literally with libraries, no joke, of 50,000 and 100,000 different drugs in Petri dishes, given that alone, I'm more than cautiously optimistic. The race, of course, is between basically the time course of survival of any one patient and the rate of progress in these research programs. And obviously it's a terrific urgency. We feel it very deeply. Many of us who are here in the laboratory also see patients and clients in the clinic, so that underscores the imperatives.
I remember her getting up in the middle of the night to go to work. You know, I'd say, "Mom, what are you doing? It's 1 o'clock in the morning." She would look at me really confused, you know, and then she would pretend that she knew what she was doing, but you could tell that she didn't. Her hands are so warm. Your hands are so warm, Mom. She constantly was hiding things, like you'd find strange things like, you know, keys in the refrigerator.
And eventually we all said, we think that Mom's developing Alzheimer's.
We didn't know much about it, but we'd heard of it, you know. We never thought it would happen to her. But that's what it was. Hi, Isabel. How you doing, sweetheart? What's the matter with you? Huh? Did you have a good night last night? Tired?
No.
Nice day? I miss it for talking to, because her and I could converse, you know, we could make good conversation. She could tell me about something that happened years and years ago, and I knew who they were, and 50 years. We had a 50-year wedding anniversary. Couldn't believe it. We tried to tell her that, she didn't know.
I don't think there's any greater fear for a person than to think, I've lived my whole life accumulating all of these memories, all of these value systems, all of this place in my family and in society. And here's a disease that's just going to come in and every single day just rip out the connections, just tear out the seams that actually define who I am as a person. I will no longer know who I am. My family, friends, and loved ones will no longer know me as myself.
Mother. Hello, it's Helen. I'm here. Wanted to see you.
Just wanted to see your eyes, Mom.
You sometimes wonder if, you know, she can hear you, if she recognizes your voice or names or anything, but... Mom, can you hear me? In there?
She doesn't. When I hold her hand, I think she knows somebody's there, but I don't necessarily think that she knows that it's me.
It's Isabel.
I just wish I could talk to her. Do you know, like, it's been so long since I've heard her voice.
The question is why one person gets to the point of having Alzheimer's by 70 or 80 years old, whereas another person lasts until 90, with becoming hardly demented at all. So the way we attack Alzheimer's is to identify all of the genes that can confer risk. And remember, they don't even act individually. In one person, you can have 5 or 6 different risk factors, gene-to-gene interactions, environment triggering these genes, complex systems that need to be worked out. Ultimately, the goal will be to predict early in life who is at greatest risk for Alzheimer's, then use that information to start prescribing prophylactic, preventative drugs so that we don't even allow the disease to strike. So I think we're going to get there, and I think that's the hope for Alzheimer's, and it's going to serve as a model for most other age-related diseases.
It's Helen. Can you hear me?
She's sound asleep.
Yeah, she looks pretty happy. It's not surprising that she's held on because she was a tough woman, but I didn't think, it seems endless now, you know, it could be another 10 years. It could be 20. That's why they say the long goodbye. It's the longest.